I'm Syl Saller, and I'm the CMO of Diageo. For us, the link between business and creativity is just completely intertwined. I talk about it as work that works. So it's been 5 years since IPA published that landmark study that proved that connection, and we see it all the time. So in the last 2 years, not including this year, Guinness has won 15 Lions here at Cannes, and the brand is in growth. I don't think that's a coincidence. But in these days, we talk about all over the festival, mobile first. I actually think it's almost mobile only. And when people look down at their phones, the amount of clutter that they see is incredible. It's not just our content they're looking at. In the last minute that we've been talking, there have been, 4 million likes on Facebook, 300,000 tweets, and some people have swiped left or right, 590,000 times on Tinder. So how do we break through, in that kind of environment? And the answer is great work, great creativity. The role of creativity in Diageo is varied, but if I talk about two elements, obviously we see it as a competitive advantage, the way we win in the marketplace. But we have what we call purpose-driven creativity. In other words, all of our work emanates from brand purpose in one way or the other. And we think that that gives us a real edge. So for example, Smirnoff's brand purpose is inclusivity. We want to make the world a more inclusive place. Now that might sound lofty, but it is quite important. Smirnoff can do a lot to bring music closer to the fans. It can, one of our pieces of work was a deaf dancer called Fonseca. How do you dance if you're deaf? He's an amazing guy. And we think by shining a light on people who are doing that kind of inspirational stuff, we can add a bit to the cultural conversation. We can make a difference in the world. And what does that do for our brands? Well, consumers are looking for brands that have shared values, that are talking about things that they care about, and connecting based on purpose. However we do that, Smirnoff at a festival, doing it in an inclusive way, or something a bit more serious, it's a great way to bring creativity to life, and it's been a huge, shot in the arm for our creative output. For the next 12 months, our focus will be, as it ever is, on driving performance. But within that, there are 3 things that are particularly important to us. The first is getting the balance right between magic and measurement. Companies often swing one way or the other. I'm really trying to get a balance where we become much more data-driven, but not a slave to it. We use it to inform our choice, and we have that magic that makes, in particular, our categories so special in the way that they touch consumers. So that's the first one. The second area is in partnerships. Cannes is really interesting in that it has absolutely exploded from being advertising and media based to now there's entertainment companies, there's other content companies, tech companies, all sources of amazing content. And I'm looking for partners who can generally deliver, in this triangle of 3 things. Great content that's really relevant. They're the kind of people who share our values, really will get inspired by our brands and do the best possible work. They offer us data that tells us what's working and not. And with that, they do it at the right price, so it's economic for them and economic for us. So partners are really important to us. And the final area that's always on my list is talent, growing the next generation of leaders and creating the conditions for them to do the best work of their lives, to be able to grow and flourish in their jobs, and to understand how their work fits into a fulfilling life.